Okay, in this video I'm going to be showing how to calibrate a Sony Trinitron Wega KV36 FS16 from 2000, although it really should be the same on probably any model that's similar to this. But yeah, and I'm going to be using the 240p test suite. I have a burned copy of it for the Dreamcast, and yeah, you can see I've got the website open here too. There's a lot of good info on here. This is junkerhq.net. Yeah, it has details about all the different tests. Yeah, let's go ahead and start this up. All right. It took a second there to get the signal because I have it going through a switcher. And yeah, it's on automatic mode. I guess I can turn that off just so it's always on the Dreamcast. But yeah, all right, here we go. Okay, so first, yeah, so we've got a bunch of different tests on here. Yeah, and I'm actually gonna calibrate this TV, and I might even do the 4K TV as well. I wanted to do this before I do the next comparison test between these two. But yeah, let's go ahead and go into test patterns, and then go into Pluge, I think is how it's pronounced, but it actually stands for the picture line up generation equipment. But yeah, anyway, so there's a few different things you can do on here. You can see on this performance controller I have, oh, by the way, speaking of performance, I should mention that this Dreamcast is hooked up through S-Video, and it's also using performance S-Video cable, which I found to be excellent. But yeah, you can see it says the test on here. And then if you push the start button here, it actually pulls up a menu, a help menu. And so yeah, you'll want to look on here because this 240p test suite is available on different consoles as well. Like it's also on the Wii, Super Nintendo, Genesis, a bunch of different consoles. And yeah, so but this help will be different for each one, for each individual console. So so yeah, it has really good information on here. It tells you how to do the test, and yeah, I would highly recommend reading through this. Yeah, so anyway, let's go back to here. So right now this is RGB full range, and it says to leave it on like this for games, for game consoles. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it like this. But if you push the A button, you can change it to NTSC, and it kind of lightens up the picture a little bit. But yeah, we're gonna keep it on full range, and it's actually a little hard to tell what's going on. So I'm gonna turn off the lights real quick. Voila, the lights are off. Okay, and then also I'm going to go into menu here. I've kind of played around with these settings before, so I'm just going to take my remote here. It's kind of hard to tell now because it's... Well, anyway, there's a reset button right here, so I'm going to just reset all these settings. Yeah, and then on this one, we're going to specifically be adjusting the contrast, which in Sony land they call it picture. So yeah, let's go into the contrast adjust. Okay, so on this test, they say to raise the picture or the contrast until you can't really see the scan lines or the black lines between the scan lines. And I can still see them, but it's definitely more blurred when it's all the way raised. And then what you want to do is just lower it until let's see, let's just look at this real quick. So yeah, so you can see on here, and again, this is all in the help section, and it's that there's actually more information in the help section, but there's different settings for like flat screens, digital flat screens, and then there's also like CRT stuff. But yeah, it says on here to raise the contrast until the scan lines and the white are no longer visible, and then lower them until they're the same relative size to the rest of the scan lines and the gray bars. Okay, so yeah, so that's talking about so like when we raise it all the way. So it's talking about up here at the top. Oops. Yeah, so this stuff should be barely visible. Sorry, and then when we lower it, then the scan lines up here should be the same size as the gray bars. So yeah, now let's lower it. I'm just gonna kind of look at this a little bit. Yeah, so it's funny because on the standard setting, when you first, get this TV or when you reset the settings, it has the contrast, turned like way up, like up to here. I think they do that just so the color pops out of the screen. But yeah, you actually want to lower the contrast because it actually extends the life of the tube. So yeah, you don't want to have it up that far all the way, and also it brings out the black detail, so your blacks aren't crushed. But yeah, I'm just looking at this, looking at the size of the scan lines. I'm just gonna play around with this for just a second. I'm gonna pause the video. Okay, that looks pretty good for me. So yeah, so you can see on here, like the contrast is like maybe a sixth of the way full, a fifth of the way, something like that. But yeah, nothing like, it's like clear up to here, and and the picture isn't as bright, but there is a lot more detail in the black levels. And you can also, well, I don't know if you can tell on the camera, but there are faint black lines over here, or gray bars. Same on this side, you can't really see it as much. But yeah, those should be, if like barely visible or not visible at all. And I actually have the JVC on here turned on too. This is just going through composite, but I've noticed on this JVC TV that it actually, this is just the standard settings, and it actually has really good settings just out of the box. And I can even like clearly see, ooh, I love that static electricity. I can clearly see the black lines. Well, these ones are kind of less visible, but I don't know. Maybe this needs to be calibrated as well. But yeah, this JVC, just when I've looked at this 240p test suite before in the past, it just seems like it's just calibrated out of the box. So yeah, it's kind of just there, just as a comparison. I'm not really calibrating that one right now. Alright, so anyway, I think this is pretty good, so let's go on to the next test. Alright, so now let's go into this calibar test. So this one actually, oh, I turned on the lights again. Yeah, this one actually is, it should be the same as the previous one. So yeah, it still just adjusts the black levels. So like, let's go into the help menu here. So yeah, you can see it. Yeah, if you've already done the PLUG or plug or however you pronounce it, then under the colors under the one column in the white should be very visible. And then you can also do the colors. You can adjust the colors with the tint. But yeah, let's look at this. So yeah, I would say, so it's talking about right here under the one. I'd say that's barely visible. So I think we did a pretty good job on the previous test, so I'm not going to adjust that again. And then it also said on the colors, so between F and E, you shouldn't really be able to tell a difference. And yeah, I'd say it looks pretty much the same. So I think the colors are good on this TV as well, just out of the box. So yeah, I don't think there's much else to see here. I guess it did say you could push the A button. So push this A button, and then it puts the grid on the back. Yeah. Anyway, let's go on to the next test. Alright, so now we're going to do the color bars. Oh, whoops, that's one we already did. Sorry, SMPTE color bars. Yeah, so yeah, this is a pretty common NTSC image, I guess. I think the biggest thing on here, from what I understand, is just to make sure that there's not like very highlighted gray bars down here in the black. because otherwise your black levels might be off. And looks like that looks okay since we already did that in the other test. So yeah, looks pretty good, I guess. On to the next test. Oh, I guess I can show the help thing real quick. Yeah, you can look at this too. But yeah, there it is. Okay, so the next one is color bars with grayscale. So this one, I guess, it says on the instructions. I guess we can pull those up real quick. So yeah, you can use it. You can use color filters to adjust for color accuracy. I don't have color filters, so I'm just gonna go off of the other tests. It was the same with the over here to check that. But yeah, that's what this test is for. All right, and then let's go into the color bleed check. This one is just to make sure that the colors don't bleed into each other. Yeah, we can look at the help on here. Yeah, so basically, from what I understand, there should just be like a clear distinction between, you know, all the colors. I would say it looks pretty good. The blue isn't as discreet, I would say, as like the green and the white. The red is okay as well. But yeah, I think that this one looks pretty good. All right, next we're gonna go on to this grid test. So yeah, this is basically just showing like where the overscan is. So it says, well, I'll open up the help real quick so you can see it. So yeah, like it says, let's see here. I think it was outside of the white boxes, or the white lines. It says that a lot of games don't dry out of there. So basically in this red area. Yeah, and then this is just to show like the I hope I pronounce this right, but the linearity of the screen. So anyway, you can kind of, and actually on these Wegas, so since they have a curved tube inside, but the front is a flat glass, and so that actually can kind of emphasize the imperfections of CRT technology. And it doesn't look bad, but if you really look for it, you can kind of see that the lines aren't perfectly straight here on this side. Yeah, when you compare it to, I'm going to do this, well, actually, I think I did it in the last test I did, but yeah, I did look at this, but yeah, the lines, like on this curved screen, and Mitsubishi, they are, straight, but yeah, anyway, but I'd say overall it looks good, and you don't really notice it unless you're really, like, specifically looking for it, but you can see that it's kind of warped over here. Anyway, let's go on to the next test. Okay, so this is just basically the same as the other. It's just that this is like specifically for was it Genesis? Yeah, Genesis, Super Nintendo, and PlayStation games. So this is the resolution they use. Yep, there it is. So yeah, it's the same thing as the other. I guess the A button does something. Had some line over there. But yeah, anyway, on to the next test. Okay, this is linearity. So on this one, the circles should be circles and not ovals. Yeah, let's see the help on here. So yeah, yep. I'd say it looks pretty good. I don't know. This one kind of looks like an oval a little bit, but overall, I think it's pretty good. And I think if I did go into the service menu and tried to fix it, it probably would just make it look worse. And actually, right here where it's a little bit distorted, that might be where we saw before, where it wasn't perfectly straight. So yeah, this might actually just be as good as it gets. And then I think it said the X and Y buttons do something. So let's try pushing that. Okay, yeah, it just adds the grid on the top. So yeah, that's the way it is. I'm noticing up here there are some color deviants. Like you can see there's yellow where this should all be red. I'm not sure if it's because this is right next to another TV and maybe it's, I don't know, affecting it, but yeah, anyway. Oh, and then Y. Okay, yeah, so that just, yeah, you push X and Y and you can go between those, so, yeah. Okay, next test. All right, again, here's the same test. This is just the Super Nintendo, PlayStation, and Genesis resolution. All right, now we're going to go into gray ramp. So in this one, we just want to make sure that there's no like red or blue bias. I think were the colors that I was saying on here. Yeah, just white level, raise contrast, the point where the white bars. Yeah, so that's kind of what we did before as well. Actually doesn't mention. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, with no red or blue bias. Yeah, so let's just take a look at this real quick. Yeah, so yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Maybe a tiny bit of I don't know, is that red bias? It's hard to tell. Just we're not really doing this to you. Let's just turn this on real quick I'm just curious just to get a comparison. I think it looks pretty good. I don't know. I want to say maybe there's a little bit of red bias on the brighter areas. Yeah, like you can see over here, it looks more gray, I guess. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good though overall. So I'm not going to really mess with that. I know that there is a thing with these Trinitrons. Let me just look it up just 1 second so I'm telling you the right word. Okay, so I just looked it up, and yeah, so it's something called red push, and it's a known Trinitron issue. I don't know. I don't think this one's really too bad, but I mean, if you compare it, between these two TVs, or yeah, I don't know, even the JVC, I don't know. That one's not exactly fair because that one's going through composite, so it's converting, but yeah, you can kind of see maybe a little bit of reddish, a little bit, but I don't know. It's really not too much. You really notice if you compare it. So yeah, I'm gonna say maybe there's a little bit of red push, which like I said, is apparently a known Trinitron issue, but I think overall it looks pretty good. So all right, next we're gonna go into this white and RGB screens. So yeah, so this one's mostly for checking. I guess some scalers, digital scalers, they have problems. I guess with some of this stuff, what I was reading. Yeah, and then so it says you can change the colors with L and R, the triggers. Yeah, see what it says here. Some displays and scalers have issues when changing between a black 0 IRE and a white screen. So yeah, just from switching from black and white. Yeah, and then okay, so this is interesting too. So see, so it says you can look for dead pixels on some displays. Yeah, which I mean, CRT displays don't really have pixels. They draw pixels, but they don't have pixels. The technology just scans across. So yeah, it's different. Anyway, let's go ahead and push the the R trigger on this performance controller and switch the color. So here's completely black. Yep, looks pretty good. Here's red. Yep. Yeah, green, blue. Yeah, so I mean, I don't have any color calibration tools, but I mean, it looks like this looks white, this looks black, this looks red, green, blue, Yeah, and I guess you can adjust the individual values over here when you push the A button. So yeah, like I can turn down the green, make it look, kind of purplish. That's interesting. On the camera it comes up as kind of blue, but in real life it looks kind of purple. Yeah, that might be the filter or the white what do you call it? White balance filter, whatever, on my camera. But anyway, let's go on to the next test. I think we've pretty much. So I guess on a digital screen, maybe I'll test on this one. Well, I don't think this one has any dead pixels, but if you do have dead pixels when you're switching between the colors, then you probably will be able to tell. Yeah. Anyway, let's go on. Actually, real quick, I used to have an OLED TV, and there was burn-in, and I know that when I would switch between colors, and especially like how intense the colors, that's a good way to test for burn-in, so that might be something you can check as well. Alright, next let's look at this 100 IRE. this one, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but this is like, I guess, testing composite signals. So yeah, you can look at this on here. So yeah, just like from the black to white, yeah. Anyway, yeah, when you push the L and R triggers, you can change the value of the IRE. Yeah, all the way black. So yeah, I think, so see when it's all the way black, yeah, it's pretty much invisible. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. I think that's the, I don't know, maybe there's more specific stuff you can look for. And then the A button also, you can see it changes the range down there. So yep. Alright, next we're going to go to sharpness. Alright, so on here, just all the edges should be well defined. I'll go into the help just to show what it says. Yeah. So set the sharpness of your CRT to a value that shows clean black and gray transitions with no white ghosts in between. Okay, so I guess this is something we can actually go in and adjust. Yeah. Okay, yep. Yeah, it looks pretty. Okay, so let's push A when I meant to push B. Still used to Nintendo controllers. So yeah, let's go back into the menu here. This is something I think we can change. Let's go to adjust. So right now it looks like sharpness is right dead in the center. I know you don't want to turn this up too much because I think it can cause artifacts possibly. Yeah, I don't know really. I don't know if I should adjust this or not. Let's see. I'll maybe try to adjust it a little bit. So let's go down like 5 a little bit. I don't know. Like it looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. So I don't know. I don't think I'm really gonna adjust this. I don't really see any ghosting like between the, like it all looks pretty sharp already. So yeah, there's that red stuff at the top, by the way. Maybe that's the red bleed or whatever it was called. Yeah, I'm not gonna really adjust the sharpness because it looks pretty good. So, but yeah, you can if you want to. Let's go on to the next test. Alright, next up is this Overscan test. This is actually kind of an interesting one. So let's go into the help here so you can see it. So yeah, it's the L and R triggers, and then it basically just brings the Overscan. So like there is a white line that's drawn like up above here, but you know the TV Overscan, it zooms in basically. So anyway, the L and R triggers can kind of show how far away that is. So yeah, let's go into here. So we'll do the, so R trigger brings the overscan of all the sides closer to the screen. L trigger takes it away. So right now we can't see any overscan. But yeah, let's go ahead and push this R trigger a little bit. Let's see how many pixels it takes to show. Okay, so see now we started to see it a little bit. Yeah, so maybe about 6 pixels away. Yeah, about 6 pixels. And also you can see it comes on this side first. So maybe the, I don't know, it doesn't really look like it's crooked, but maybe it's like a little wonked this way a little bit. Yeah. And I think, was it the A button? Well, we'll just put this, so let's put this back to how many pixels away it was. It was about 6 pixels before we could see it. And then the bottom, let's see how many that one is. I'm just pushing this to, okay, there it is. So yeah, about 8 pixels from the bottom. And then left, oh, the left was closer. About 3 pixels from the left. And then right, holy cow, right's 0 pixels. So it's like, yeah, I don't know, maybe this is something to go into the service menu and change. I'm not going to do it just because I don't really want to mess around with it because I think it looks fine the way it is. But yeah, it looks like it's not all even, so the picture's kind of like this a little bit, or no, I guess it'd be, well, yeah, like this, and then yeah, something like that. I don't know, but anyway, yeah, because it's pretty close on this edge, and then it's pretty far away from the top and bottom. And I actually kind of noticed that too, where it's not all even. Like on this TV, it seems like it's more even, and it's like some things like they could actually, like the image actually looks a little bit fatter. But yeah, that's something, if your TV is like that, if it really bugs you, you can go in and change it in the service menu. But Okay, so that's pretty much all of these test patterns. Now let's go back to the main menu. Now some of these, like the drop shadow test, a bunch of these lag tests, it doesn't really, it's not really applicable to CRT because it just works. Like you can see on here, like it looks like a shadow. Whereas when I do this TV, you'll see it won't look like a shadow probably because it doesn't scale it correctly. It'll probably just look like lines that go across. But yeah, we'll save that for another day. One that I think is relevant for this TV is this scroll test. Yeah, and we can look at the help real quick if you want to. But basically, yeah, you know, it just is a scroll, like it just scrolls along here. And okay, there we go. My video stopped for a second. But yeah, it just scrolls along here, and you can see, um, like, yeah, you can see like if there's any like distortions. And actually, I kind of can see it. You can kind of, and I showed this before too, but yeah, you can see like right here, especially when these trees go by, you can see it like distort a little bit, like it goes in and then out. Can you see that? Like, look at these trees right here. Yeah, and I think that's it's because there's a curved tube in there, you know, and then the flat screens of the Wega TVs that could just kind of emphasize those flaws. So let's see, and then I think was it A? Okay, A stops it. B obviously goes back. Y, oh okay, Y changes to a different screen. So yeah, you can see it on here too. It seems like right here is where there's stuff that's happening. Yeah, it's not super noticeable. It's only if you really look for it, and it's in the corner of the screen too. Um, yeah, for the most part, I guess you can kind of see it over here too. It kind of goes in and out a little bit. But yeah, usually that kind of stuff you don't really notice um, unless it's like a well scrolling. Yeah, yeah, you can go back and forth with the X button. Yeah, I think that's relevant for this TV. Let's go on to the next test. Okay, this one's kind of similar to the other one. I'm just scrolling along here. We'll go into the help so you can see it. Yeah. Yep, you can change which direction it goes with the X and Y buttons. I think, can you change? Oh yeah, A pauses it. Yep. So yeah, kind of the same thing, just with the grid. Alright, so here's another one that's kind of interesting. This one, again, is more for digital flat screens, but this one just shows all the lines that your TV is displaying. And so I guess on 240p signals on, you know, these TVs, it usually doesn't show up correctly. Yeah. Also, it's interesting. Like I don't know if the camera's picking this up, probably not, but I can hear the JVC really working on this test. Like you can hear stuff going on in the circuitry, but like when I turn it off, and it's pretty silent besides the loud Dreamcast. Well, it's not that loud, but it's kind of loud. But yeah, the JVC, like I don't know, I guess these Trinitrons probably just are better built, have maybe higher quality parts because it's pretty silent on this test. So yeah. Okay, and then I guess we'll go into this checkerboard. Yeah, I showed this one before as well, but yeah. Yep, looks pretty good. Again, you can kind of see the red up at the top there a little bit. Yeah, I think overall looks pretty good. So, oh, did I not show the help on there? Yeah, you can see the help. Oh, yeah. All right, let's go into the. Oh yeah, this one's kind of interesting. Let's go into the help first so you can see it. So yeah, I guess again this is probably more relevant for LED backlit displays, but one thing that I found interesting on this CRT is that it actually does show a little bit of, I don't know if you can see that on it shows a little bit of ghosting behind the little white dot. Can you see that? Yeah. I think that's just the way, just because CRTs are, the way they draw stuff, and it, like the electrons are still left on the glass a little bit longer. So yeah, that's why there's a little bit of ghosting. But yeah, I think this is more relevant test on the displays that have a black, like the LED displays that have a backlight, because obviously on here there's no bleeding, obviously. So yeah, so again, yeah, there's a lot of things on here that I'll do on the other TV because I think they're meant for, you know, HD TVs. But like this one, for example, like, so this is 240p. You, like, yeah, you change, you're supposed to, so the way this test works, here, I'll show the help so you can see it too. Yeah, the way this test works is you can, you're supposed to, it just switches between 240p and 480i. So yeah, this is 240p. You can see on the CRT it's pretty well, it is instantaneous. And then, but what you're supposed to do if it weren't instantaneous, so after it changes, then you push the A button once you see it change, and then yeah, I mean on here it's like it's instantaneous, so you can see how fast it's changing, you know. Yeah, it just basically goes black for a second, then it goes back. So yeah, don't pay attention to these numbers because I'm like, I basically just have to spam A to to get it to be, yeah. Anyway, this is mostly for these TVs. So this one's kind of cool, sound test. I actually don't have my surround set up right now. You can see the thing on here, but when I did have it set up, you actually can you can hear the different left channels, right channel. I guess look, sounds like center channel just does it through both speakers maybe. But yeah, when you have your surround set up, you can actually, yeah, you can hear it going through the different speakers. Yeah, this is the same thing. You can change it to, you can do the whole thing in 480i if you want to, which is, yeah, kind of cool with the Dreamcast version. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So I'd say really there wasn't too much to calibrate on this TV. Just the turning down the contrast, or the picture as Sony calls it. And then yeah, I didn't really change the sharpness or the color or anything else. All that looked pretty good, but I guess we could have if we wanted to. But yeah, I'd say overall pretty good. Yeah, I guess maybe just really quick, since I did see, I'm just kind of curious. I don't know if I'm going to keep it like this, but let's go back into this gray ramp here. I'm just gonna change the hue a little bit just to see if it yeah, so right now it's like perfectly in the center. I'm just gonna see if we can get some of that, the red bleeding to go away. See, I'm kind of I don't know, this might be something that has to be changed in the service menu. Yeah, I actually really can't tell a difference, so maybe it isn't really as big of an issue as I was making it out to be. Yeah, because right now, even when I put it all the way to green or all the way to red, I don't really see too much of a change. So yeah, I'm just gonna assume that this is just, yeah, it's working correctly. Yeah, and then I don't know, maybe this TV has red push. Maybe I'm just imagining things because people say a lot of times they have red push, these Trinitrons. But yeah, I'd say overall it looks pretty good. So yeah, I think that's the end of this calibration. So then yeah, next video we'll calibrate probably this TV, and then maybe we'll do this one as well. So yep, there it is.